Alrighty, well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Okay, so not much has been going on. I've been working on the not much working early, blah blah. You get the idea. So this is where we're at. So this side of the map originally was just going to be subway spawn, um, but because the tracks take up so much room, I thought, okay, we have to add some more stuff. So what I did is I put a garage here. I don't know what we're going to do with the garage yet. Put a police station over here. Don't know what we're going to do with that yet. It's because, so in the Blue Trucking City, the idea wasn't to have like police, but to have, it's based around trucks, right? So we have like customs police instead. So you do truck inspections and that kind of stuff, right? So I'm just getting ready. I got the fire truck here. I have ambulance, which is a truck, right? This is the ambulance because it's a trucking game. I thought that's cool. And then I just have the customs big rig here. I was checking out. What? What? The cat. You gotta sit down. It's sitting down, and you're gonna. As soon as I start to record, you're gonna sit down. What do you get? That's because he wants to go for a walk. All right. Anyways, I'll just pet him until he walks away. So, yeah. So that's sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So that's where we're at with this. No, focus on you instead. Right. So I've got the subway system in. There's two lines, as I said in the last quick little video there. So now what I'm doing is I'm actually trying to program the train itself. What I want to do is I'm going to try to get to slow down when it goes down the hill, and speed up right when it gets down to the bottom of the hill, and then when it gets to the stations, we want it to. I can barely see because the cat's in the way. I'm really sorry. Look at yesterday he was like go try to go to bed, and then he just starts meowing and meowing and meowing and meowing and meowing and meowing. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing, cat? And he just wanted food, and then to go out. You gonna bite me? You gonna bite me? What? You wanted food? Now he's all grumpy. He wanted food, and then he wants to go for a walk in the hallway. Are you gonna sit down on my lap, or are you just gonna sit there and yawn? You know cats, they're weird. You gonna sit on my lap? Come on. What do you want? What do you want, cat? He wants to sit on the keyboard. Is what he wants to do. Okay, so there's that. Sitting on the keyboard. All right. So like I say, we're getting to the point where we may as well start programming. So what do we have in this area? So we have all that in this area, and then we have I brought the bus barn over here. So there's one on that side of the map. There's going to be one on this side of the map. Yeah, and then I just need to program the city, quote unquote, the city, right? The next step is going to be NPCs and that sort of stuff. So the concept, right? The concept is and then yeah, NPCs, that sort of stuff, and then we'll actually start doing like adding player stuff. I think we're going to start with garbage, and then the tow trucks and the garbage. It'll just be fun. Those seem to be sort of the more interactive things that we can do. So with that, we have our player hub, right? So this is where, again, the player is going to gather resources from the city, and then they're going to export those resources. So you can export them on the train for half the cost, or you can haul them yourself, and get full price, right? But then you got to pay fuel and all that sort of stuff. So there's going to be sort of things like that in the game. And that was the idea of this area. This was sort of going to be the player hub. But then I added the subway, and then I decided, okay, we need to add more things here, right? The garage, I don't know, the fire department is over here by the rail station. And then there's a main bus depot downtown. No cat, look. Who's puffing his chest out? What is it? What is it? Whatever could it be, cat? I wonder. Right? Sometimes he'll just wake up. It'll be like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'll just, for whatever reason, just wake up. I'm just rolling over, and he'll get up and he'll run away. He'll charge to the front door, start meowing and meowing and meowing. It's like, whoa, whoa, buddy, whoa, I'm just rolling over in the bed. Hold on, whoa, whoa. Okay. Random conversations out of the way. Right, so this is where we're at, okay? So this ended up just being more of like a civil services area for the city. So that being said, what we need next is I need to focus on utilities and construction. Those are going to be combined, right? Combined together. And so with that, we're going to be doing a lot of coming up. This is where I'm like, okay, I'm getting to the point now where I have to start coding because we're going to be doing building and coding, right? First, we just did the building now, right? And now that we've done the building, we have our concept. Generally, everything is where it's going to be. There isn't going to be too many more changes. There's going to be one more city over here. So now we can start building and coding, right? And as far as construction goes, what I want to do eventually, where's the roads here? I have to select the roads for some reason individually. I don't know where this. See, I can't select it like that. I have to go through the folder. So we're going to have stuff like, say, water pipe, like a burst. Oh, there it was. A burst water pipe. We could even go here. Let's just say for example, just as a quick example, okay? And then these maybe 4 or 5 sections of road. Oh, hold on. Yeah, maybe these 4 or 5 sections of road. We're gonna group as a model. And then, like for example, there you go, right? So they'll go false, and you'll be able to fall through them. And then what we just need to do is around that, I'll have to make, the rest of this. We could make this. We could make it sand, I guess. More like a brown. We could do that. Now we're working below the map, so I'll do that for now. And then what I'm going to do is we'll grab this node here. Whoa. Whoa! Right, and now we have a little pit. This is what I really like. This is what I was trying to do in Blue Trucking City, and I just didn't have, one, the creative edge, and two, just the ideas. They just weren't there. I didn't have the, This is what we're doing with some simple plugins. I know there are some far better plugins out there that I could probably pay for, and all that. And just for me right now, it's just about, hey, let's just do something simple that is going to be fun, not too complicated. Anybody can do it, right? If I start getting all these pay-to-use stuff, Cat, you got to get out of the way. Come on, come on, come on, come on. If I start using all this pay-to-use stuff, it's going to be hard in the when I make these videos, right? So there you go. So there's an example of something that we'll do, all right? And then we can have our excavator. I don't know where that is. I actually found, why haven't the excavator in here? Here, I'll just duplicate it for now. I actually found a, hold on a second. I found a really old, like a 2-year-old save that I had that has a whole bunch of vehicles on it. Some heavy equipment. I'll show you. Just give me a moment here. We'll put this in the workspace. I don't know. I just wanted to make a video where just kind of making a random sort of video. And that's what this is. Just a random sort of video. So we're gonna get rid of that. All right, so this is gonna have to have a bucket on it. Whew, that's a pretty deep hole. Right, then we're gonna need some pipes. For now, it could be anchored. And so this could just be one of those, either it could be like one big pipe maybe, or we could just kind of scale it like this. See, and then I don't know if this, I don't know if I can still, oh, it does, okay. At some point, you're not going to be able to grab the nodes and drag the terrain anymore. I don't know what it is. There must be like a cache where for a certain amount of time you can drag this around, right? But eventually you're not going to be able to change the depth of it. So just when you're just right, as you saw, it was quite deep. I don't want it to be that deep. So we could do something like that. Maybe we make this pipe like that, and maybe it's concrete, and maybe it's like one of those big water pipes. I don't know, city water pipe thingy, right? Something like that. So that's what we're trying to repair. Maybe there's another one on this side, but it goes all the way through, right? And then I don't know. Just while we're here, let's look at water spray. And I know I probably have one actually with the I probably have one with the fire truck. Oh, 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 it's saving. Where are we here? Where's the fire truck? Fire truck's over here. So there's going to be all kinds of stuff like this in the city. All kinds of stuff. Insert. Oh no, we just want to say paste into water, and we will make this. There we go. Excuse me, sorry. Then what we need to do is change the speed. Could be something like that. There we go. Right, so the pipe is burst. Now I wonder if I have like a water spray sound. Let's see if we can find a water spray sound. So anyway, so yeah, so you see where we're going with this, right? So these are going to be missions that we're going to do. Civil missions here, and then of course part of it too, right? And then we'll have, the subway. We'll have to have access to the subway. You'll be able to. There'll be a road, a service road down there, and there'll be missions and stuff that you'll be able to do. Fixing lights and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of little missions in that we're going to add. So just that way, or I'm going to add. So it's going to be very dynamic city, and there's going to be lots to do all over. As you can see, it's just going to be absolutely jam packed with neat stuff, right? So this would be something like this, and then and then you just need to get the pipe, right? So you have to get into a truck, bring it over. So this would be part of, like a construction worker, like could probably even get one here. There's road construction. Water spray. Let's see. let's see, road. Road construction, we can just look at models. There's probably a pack that can give us just some basic signs, you know, road closed, whatever that we can add here. Let's just see if we can find something. There's a neat little. So at this point, now I can really start to be creative, you know, and that's why I'm trying to stress the importance of. Wow, that's a big pack. Holy moly, because that's way too much. I wasn't expecting all of that. I just wanted something, just something really. There we go. Cool. Just a little kit, you know, nothing. Just for now, just for the video. Oh, that's cool. Neat. Neat. So then, oh, cool. And it has its own little folder. All right, so we get rid of that, just because I'm not using the. Cool. So we can fence it off, you know. Neat. Now this is going to be part of a mission. So when you take the, so similar to, okay, let me back this up a little bit. When we first started coding the tow trucks, what I did is I made a script that just, it would wait every minute or 2 minutes and it would search the workspace for the object. And if the object wasn't there, it would respawn the object. And I thought that's cool. But you could imagine once you start to duplicate those scripts over and over and over again, it's really going to start to slow down the server, always having to find these objects and always having to respawn them. So we're going to change that around. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to use a remote event system where you take the mission, it fires a remote event, and then this spawns in. And that way it's not, you know, it's not that dynamic, right? It's not constantly spawning it in. Things like this, right? So this will be one of those, yeah, potentially. And there are going to be some missions. Oops, big fence. Or parts of the map that do respawn over and over again. So we're gonna have both. But I just thought we don't want to have everything on one system. I think that was just going to be a little bit too much. So I thought, you know what? Let's just figure out a different way. So yeah. So there we go. So there is a construction mission. Now we can get rid of this. I don't know, maybe, I'm not sure. That's more like a road pylon. I don't know what we can do with that. We'll have to make like a turnaround thing or something like that. So there you go. How cool is that? Now, I couldn't do this in Blue Trucking City because we used the terrain and stuff, and it just was going to be far too difficult to try and make that, right? So now, what we need next would be just a zone. Anchor that. You know, the zone could be a graphic. It could be whatever. So this could be the construction zone here. I don't know, you can make it green. Like whatever, right? So this is where we have to bring the materials. Now there's a few ways that we can make this work, right? We can simply bring the materials here, and then a window shows up, and we just say deliver materials, and then what it does, let's see, because we sort of want to make this sort of cool, right? So if we say deliver materials, all right, so then if we duplicate this, these are just, and we're going to change the color of this just to yellow, and let's rotate it like this. So let's just say this is a camera focus, all right? I think it's saving again. Auto saving. Yeah. All right. So now I don't know which way this is focusing. I'm just assuming that this is the front of it and it's going to be looking down on the construction site. All right, so if we take this, I don't know, we need this, and this. We need to just group all that as a model. Make sure we got all of it. Perfect. Okay, so now what we do is we can group that as a folder, and we could just call this, get rid of that so it's not confusing. Construction sites. There we go. And now this can be road site A. And now we can respawn this over and over and over again if that's what we want, or whatever. We can have a full setup, right? So now inside, so now that we've named it and we've got everything sort of where we want it, this here would be camera focus, for example. Camera focus, okay? So, let's see if I can spell that right. So for me, when we finish the mission, this is what I'm saying, we can do this a couple of ways. The player drives in here. There's a prompt. He activates the prompt. What it does is it changes the person's focus to the site. So now we're looking over the construction site like this, right? And then we watch the pipe appear, and then the road be fixed, and then that's it. And then we're rewarded, and it's done, right? So that's sort of, I think, for me, how we would sort of finish, that. But now I got to go back into the roads. Where is it? The view folder. Right, and then, so in order to change the player's camera focus, we then need to make a local script that we have to put on the player. So that way, when we activate the prompt, it fires a remote event, which activates the local script on the player and changes the camera to here. So that's going to be a process, right? So again, we're not, that's why I was saying I'm at the point where I want to start coding, and I also want to start building, because the city is in, and now we can start to make all these neat, add-ons. I think this is, to me, this is sweet. This is actually really cool. So that's this model here, and then we need, what else do we need? We need these markings, right? Oh. Yeah, there we go. And we can put that inside the folder. So then what I'll do is I'll just union this all as one road piece. To me, it'll make sense. Now, I don't know what, let's see. Yeah, so the other way we can do this is we can have the player bring a machine over, take the pipe, and lift it into place, and that also completes the mission, right? So there's a couple of ways. Again, I haven't fully decided what I want just yet, but there are a couple of ways we can turn this mission into a really cool kind of mission. Oh, so auto saving it. Or what we do is we let's see, well, transparency, there we go. That's so cool. Right, take this whole thing, just union it. Where we go, model, union. Now it's one bit. And then we can actually take this, put this inside the construction site. We can duplicate it. We'll have to duplicate it actually here. We'll do this. There we go. We'll duplicate it. No, we won't duplicate it. I'll just figure it out later on. It's going to have to go back in the view folder. Otherwise, it's not going to show up on the mini map. So I'm going to have to figure out again. There'll be a little more programming involved in that. But essentially, that's our road. That's our road site. Right. So this would go transparency here. Oh, the road is broken. And then everything else shows up. Oh boy, this is. And then once it's repaired, just like that. And then all the rest of this stuff would disappear. Not the triangle part. Where's all this? Construction blocks. Ah. Gotcha. Now, if I make this invisible, do I have to make the texture invisible too? Oh, it already is. Alright. So this, what might have to happen is this part might spawn in the construction blocks. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe this whole thing will have to spawn in. I don't know. I'm not sure. But, and then, of course, this would be enabled false. It's just going to have to be all part of a mission, right? But you get the idea. I think it's going to be really neat. This area here, yeah, is going to have to be in the server storage, I think is what we'll do. So this will be our typical construction site. And this is going to be, now we can take this and we can put it all over the map, right? Sections anywhere all over the map. And then what we'll do is similar to what we've done with the subway and all that kind of stuff is when they activate the mission, this will all spawn in. I think that's the easiest way to do that for the construction sites. This whole site will spawn in. Yeah. Right? And then that way we'll leave it at we'll leave it. It'll have to go into server storage. And then we'll have to group it as a folder. And this will be construction. Construction sites. And now, where I was saying, we're going to duplicate this union. And we're going to call this site A. Now, every time we have a site, we have to name it A, B, C, D, whatever, right? Up to Z. And because that way, what we're going to do is we'll put this inside the view folder. Oh, did I duplicate it? Right. Site A. Okay. Yeah. So we'll put this inside the view folder. And we'll group it as construction sites inside the view folder. Where's our view folder? Right there. And then we're going to group as a folder construction. And then we're going to group this as a model. And then we're going to call this site A. There we go. So now, when we take the mission, we can find this part here. And we can say can collide false, right? Transparency 1. And then we spawn in. Well, first we'll obviously spawn this in. And then we duplicate this, which is what will happen with the code. And then it'll spawn this into the workspace. And it's going to be named the player's mission. It's going to be named the player's mission. And that way, Uh, that's how we'll track it. That's how we'll be able to give the player rewards. And that way another player won't come by and be able to claim, the rewards for your mission. It'll only be your mission, and then you can take your time and all that kind of stuff, right? And it'll be cool. Then other people can, but your mission is going to interfere with other people being able to use the road, which I kind of like that. I think that's kind of neat. Just adds that little bit. So then we have our union, right? So this one here, we may as well do that with it, and then can collide false, right? And then these two are going to be active. So this is how it spawns in. Of course, this won't be here. This will be somewhere else. So yeah, that is what's next. Really, is now just kind of making up the missions and seeing what they are. So that would be a typical construction mission. And we'll have a few more because I've got the cement truck. I got a bunch of things, right? So what we're going to want to do with that is we want to do something similar, but maybe we want to have a section of sidewalk that we're going to pour. And maybe even in this construction site, maybe we need several materials. Maybe we do need a dump truck to come in first and get a load of gravel. Then we need the cement truck to come here, and you need to pour cement down into the hole, and we could do that as well. We could duplicate this, because if this spawns in as... So we'll go over that. In the next video, we will code this, and we'll actually make it work. We'll make this one here kind of like that, the cement. And then we could say cement reward. Let's see if we duplicate this one here. And then we just kind of do that. For now, we just sort of make it transparent. And then I'll just make it yellow. And then we'll call this the pipe reward. So now what's going to happen is that the player is going to come here. The player is going to drive here. They're going to activate the button, depending on the vehicle they're in, right? Deliver cement. So they'll back the cement truck in, and they can pour cement down the hole. That'll give them additional rewards, or they can just pull into the zone. It'll say deliver cement. I guess we can have two options, automatically or whatever. Doesn't matter, I guess. Now, somebody was saying that they want to see for example, if they're going to be pouring cement in here, they want to see the cement grow. So as they're pouring the cement down here, we're going to make this sort of come up to about there, and then it's going to stop. Whatever that is. It goes from 3 to 8. Yeah, we can do something like that. We're just going to go y plus 1. And it'll do that. Expand to about there, then it'll stop. And then I guess the last reward we're going to need is the sand reward. Perfect. So that is how this mission is going to work. Ooh, that's exciting. It's going to involve 3 different types of materials. I like that. And then that may as well start... Oh, who knows? It doesn't really matter. That'll appear later on too. And same with this one. This will be sand. And it'll expand like that as well. Oh, that's going to be neat. So we have our sand reward, our cement reward, and our pipe reward. We can go one step further where you could pave it. But I don't know if we're necessarily going to do that. So then once you get the sand in there, then it'll say road fixed. I suppose you could pave it. That could be the last thing. But then we'd have to set that. As you can tell the hesitation in my voice because I'm like, you got like 5 or 6 vehicles we could build just so the player could come over here and do a little bit of paving, right? You know, either you show up with an asphalt truck. I don't know how that would work. A paving machine. I think that's good. Once you deliver the sand, it'll make the road surface reappear, and then everything else disappears, and that's it, right? Cool. So how long is this? How long have we been recording now for? 35 minutes. Okay, well, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. I think we'll leave it here for now. Yeah. As you can see, there's still lots of work going on the map. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. The next step is going to be, I think we need one more garage. I don't know what type of garage in this area, but I feel like we need a truck garage somewhere. I know we have the Zoom facility way over here. Maybe that could be it has a truck garage there. Maybe that's what that'll be. And then this is the player area here. So yeah, I guess I need a spawn location now. And then just tidy up a few things and a little bit of code, and I might be able to alpha this thing in a few days. That would be exciting, actually. That'd be exciting. There's a lot of infrastructure. That's the thing. A lot of driving around and stuff. And I think with these missions, it's going to be so cool. Right? Likewise with the garbage, same thing. You're going to, except the bins. The bins are going to be on their own respawn system. And you're going to be able to find bins all around the map. Right? The idea is you'll fill up your truck, you'll come over here, you'll dump your truck. There's going to be a capacity here. Once the capacity gets full, you'll have to export that. And that's how you're going to make money. Generally, that's how you're going to make money, and it's the money that you're going to use to buy the vehicles, which is going to help you do these missions. Now, it's the NPCs that you're going to need to talk to, which are going to give you the missions, and the NPCs are going to reward you with rewards, and you'll be able to take those rewards and upgrade stuff and make more stuff, and that's the game. Don't want to reveal too much on that. I've probably revealed too much already. So that's it. So thank you so much for watching these videos, liking and subscribing. And again, there's going to be a whole bunch of these neat little things coming up. And then now maybe what we'll do is we'll set some static construction sites up just around the map. So you'll be driving, and then suddenly the road will be blocked, right? You won't be able to get through, just as you know, whatever, right? I think that'll be really cool. A bit of both: dynamic sites that we could deliver stuff to and make missions from, and static sites that are just annoying and in the way. Excellent. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you all in the next one.